then you join us today for our Christmas special of Talking Classics. In this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what has happened during our year here at Bridge Classic Cars. I'm going to sit down with Craig, our director, and just have a little chat about all the exciting things that have gone on here at Bridge Classic Cars.
Stay in the story, so much on my mind, I can't quite see it all.
Hello, so I'm sitting here with Craig now, and we're going to have a little roundup of all the exciting things that have happened here at Bridge Classic Cars this year, and it certainly has been an amazing year. I feel like each year at Bridge Classic Cars we're just going bigger and better and stronger. Yeah.
I think that's always the aim with Bridge. Ever since we started it, it's always to make the next year better than the one before. So when we did our first event, it was then how can we make this bigger and better?
Yeah.
And that's how, I guess, how we work, is always trying to see how we can improve things along the way. A really good example, which we'll talk about later on, is we've got the Jensen has recently just arrived. So the Jensen 541 is what we're probably best known for. And it was not the first car we ever did, but one of the first major restorations we ever did was a 541. And then haven't seen it for probably 8 or 9 years. But it's back. And it's really good to actually, it's good and bad to look at probably how we were 8 or 9 years ago to how we are now. The car is very different to one that we produce now, hence why it's back. So we're doing it again.
Well, that's really interesting as well, because I'm only now coming into my second year here at Bridge Classic Cars, and it's crazy because I feel like I've been here longer, but it's absolutely flown by. It's been so much fun. I am a very lucky girl because I get to drive such amazing cars. But yeah, it's really interesting, like that kind of thing for me as well, because I don't really know how it started. So seeing it how it is now, it feels like it's amazing, but I didn't even know what it came from, if you see what I mean.
It started in a tiny little building with myself and Gordon, who's my dad. We would catch up at weekends. We had proper jobs, and we would catch up on a Saturday and see what. At the time, there was one technician that worked here, and it's to see what they'd been up to during the week. And now we've got 23 technicians. We've got everything in house. I mean, back in the day, we used to outsource our paint. We used to outsource everything. We were just taking it apart and putting it back together. Very different now. You know, we do absolutely everything in house, and obviously we've got the competitions and the events and all sorts going on. But yeah, I mean, even what you say, you've been 2 years.
Yeah, no, I'm coming into my second year.
Okay, so I've got a video of, I probably haven't seen the video of when you first came here.
The tester one?
Yeah, I've still got that.
Oh no.
And your style, I mean, the knowledge and the confidence that you've got in the brand is vastly different now to what it was a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever it was.
I can remember doing my first live draw and being absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
I think it was a double one as well. It was a bike and a car.
Oh, really?
I can't remember what it was now, but I think I just...
So we really chucked you in the deep
Yeah,
end.
I was really terrified, but it was fine. It went.
It did?
It went.
Yeah.
And someone won a...
We've all been nervous. The first time you ever do it, the first time it ever goes wrong, you know, it really plays on your mind. The first time we got negative comments on Facebook and the social media, we've discussed that in a previous video, you get them.
Yeah.
You get people that are the experts that try and bring you down. And that, you know, you really take that to heart when you first start all this. And yeah, it's very nerve-wracking the first time. The first time we ever did competitions was in the hangar. And now we're in this building here. I do like the hangar. We've still got the hangar. But you've never done a draw from there, have you?
No, I haven't, no. We've had an amazing event at the hangar, though. At Bentwaters. We had our classic car show in July, is it? June or July? In July. And this year it was the biggest it's ever been, wasn't it? It was absolutely huge.
We need to talk about that. So the summer show started, I've got to get this right, it used to start at Bentwaters. People used to rock up there, spend half an hour, something like that. Then we'd all get in our cars and do a convoy back to here.
Yeah.
And the show happened here. And that's always been the case, and that was never going to change until this year. And the only reason it changed this year was because we were doing some building work down the front of the site. We've got a lot of grass here, and we were making one area into hard standing. And it was supposed to be done before our car show, but I didn't want to take that risk. So I thought, well, let's do it the other way around and let's end up at Bentwaters. So glad we did. There was 2,000 people, I would say, that came.
Was huge, yeah. So it really, actually, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. They were getting that work done because then we were able to have that massive, vast space, absolutely jam-packed full of cars. It was a sight to behold, really.
But it does mean that unless we do it differently, which, like we've just said, we want to try and get bigger and bigger and bigger, it probably means it's going to end up there now, which is great. I mean, it's a very quirky place. There's a lot to look at, not just the cars. Obviously, you've got the planes, you've got the tanks, you've got everything that an old air base has.
It's a beautiful backdrop.
It's incredible.
It is. And I do remember, because my first ever day actually was the British Classic Cars car show last year.
Right?
Yeah, that was my first day. It was really exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
The first kind of event I'd done, and we did the little introduction to the show was like the first thing that I'd ever done.
Yeah.
Like, whew,
it's good being here.
Nice
Isn't it never the same day, is it?
No.
Even when you come in to do your bits,
No.
You never really know what to expect. Coming in and sitting here now, we didn't know until 10 minutes ago that we were going to be sitting down here having a conversation about this year.
About this year.
That's what's kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And like for me, it's always really exciting because every time I come into the workshop, there is new cars, new stuff going on. You're like, oh, Molly, have you seen this car that I got at auction? And it's all just really exciting stuff all the time.
So that's the plan for next year. You're going to come to an auction with us, aren't you?
Yes, I am really looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
To see like how it happens, because you see on Bargain Hunt and Antiques Roadshow, those kind of
It's
auctions.
more nerve-wracking than you think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you get a bit nervous?
Especially if, I mean, what we'll do is if there's a car there that we like, then maybe I'll hand it over to you to put your hand up.
Oh,
That's
no,
where it gets
really?
nerve-wracking, yeah. Because you never know when to start, and it starts sort of, it starts getting lower and lower and lower, so you don't want to start it too early. You kind of want to, you want someone else to start it first.
You don't want to look too keen.
And then you have to read the room. And yeah, it's exciting.
Excited. But as you said, nerve-wracking as well.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do that next year.
But yeah, our car show, it was absolutely massive and huge this year and really exciting. And I really think that you guys could take a look at it now. Hello and welcome to the British Classic Cars Show. It is about to start. We have lots of vehicles arriving and in a few minutes we are going to start the show, but it's looking like it is going to be a fantastic day. So let's have a look around.
Such a great turnout and so many different types of cars.
Let's head on down to the vintage fair. I am here with Mark Murphy, who is judging our Best in Show competition. So Mark, can you please tell us, what are you looking for in the Best in Show competition? What's going to really float your boat?
It's really, really difficult. What I will say first of all is I've got my car here. It's ticking over, ready for a quick exit in case I choose the wrong car. I think today I'm looking for one that's had a lot of work done to it, someone who's put a lot of love and attention and care into it to make it top notch, and I think I've found it, but we'll have to wait and see. But there are so many cars, fantastic cars. But it's great. I mean, it's fantastic. What a turnout.
I know, it's been absolutely amazing. That was just an absolutely brilliant weekend, and the fun did not stop there because the events just kept on coming after our car show. So the next weekend was Helmingham Hall, wasn't it?
So Helmingham Hall is a massive event in this area. People do travel a long way to Helmingham, and this was a really special year for us at Helmingham. Just the first year that we were the title sponsors of the event, which, from my point of view, I've always wanted to do that. Carriages of Needham Market, which are a TVR Noble specialist, they've done it for as long as I know, but unfortunately they're no more. So we reached out to Helmingham and said, could we be involved? And we were. So again, it was one of these things, we'd sort of seen what carriages have done in the past and thought, well, how can we make it bigger and better for ourselves? And hopefully that's the aim moving forward, is we're going to continue to be the sponsors. Hopefully, if they'll let us do it. The weather was awful last year, really bad.
There was so many times we were like, okay, it looks like it's getting brighter, and then suddenly this cloud would come over and we would all like run and jump into the trailer.
Do you know, we've probably never spoken about this, but we bought a brand new gazebo. Did you even know this?
Yes, I did know it.
So we
'Cause in
bought
the
a brand
morning
new...
I was like, where's the gazebo gone?
Yeah, so we bought this brand new gazebo, which was really nice, and it was branded, and it was black, and it was lovely. And we set that up the day before, and then turned up the next day, and it was completely flat, smashed, bent, everything. We're not sure whether it was rain. I don't think it was. I think it was deer.
The conclusion that everyone's come to in the office is that it was absolutely bombarded by a herd of deer.
It's got to have been.
And
Because
destroyed.
we're on their land. They're probably thinking, what on earth's this gazebo doing here?
Get out of my way.
Get out of here.
I like to have my grass there in the morning.
So it was a little bit different setup to what we wanted it to be, but next year, hopefully, it's going to be bigger, better weather.
Definitely.
But yes, good show, that one. I like that one.
And something very special happened at Helmingham Car Show because it was the launch of our first ever restoration competition that we've done.
Yeah.
Our Jaguar E-Type Series 1.5.
Yes.
Now that was a big moment for us as well, wasn't it?
Huge, yeah. So a long time people have asked whether we restore... We get it all the time, actually. Do we restore our own cars for the competitions? The answer is no. We have to do work on a lot of them, but we try and buy to the standards of what we would do in the workshop, purely because how long it takes to restore a car, and obviously how many competition cars we get through, it's just not feasible. But also we're busy in the workshop, so we try not to get cars that need a lot of work. But the E-Type came, it was a part restored car, turned out to be not quite restored to how we needed to be at that stage. So we started again. But yes, that was probably, well, it is the first competition. It won't be the last, I'm sure. Our biggest competition to date.
Yeah, our biggest competition to date, and it was absolutely... I was blown away by how fast it sold out as well.
Yeah.
We were not expecting our E-Type to sell out as fast as it did because we actually had more restoration planned on it, didn't we?
We hadn't even finished.
It was nowhere near finished.
The plan was for it to be finished in time for Helmingham, and it aesthetically it looked finished, didn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't open the doors. There was no rubber seals and stuff like that when we got to Helmingham, so we had to make sure no one touched it. But it looked finished.
Yeah.
And then it was given away, a few days later?
Gosh, and then we had the winner, can't remember Robert, come down to visit it, and he was absolutely blown away by it.
You would be, wouldn't you?
He was gobsmacked.
Yeah.
It was so amazing to see. I'm so pleased that I was there for that moment when he got to see his Jaguar E-Type for the first time.
Yeah, and he is going to keep it. We always wonder whether these cars will be sold on straight away, but it's in storage at the moment. It's certainly a future investment, especially winning it for a few quid as well.
Oh my gosh, definitely. And all the people at Helmingham Hall, they were blown away by it as well. You could tell people were coming over, snooping round the car, having a real good look.
Yeah.
But I think we can tell that we've made it when Helmingham Hall had our name on the cups.
And even the other day, I had a message from someone who'd gone to the illuminated trail, which is the Christmas lights.
Yes.
And they're using our name on the cup. Probably had some left over, but still, our name on the
name's
cup.
on the cups. And we'd love for you guys to see what our time was like at Helmingham Hall. So do take a look at this video.
It's nostalgia. That's what's so interesting about cars, really. It's not just the specification or who made them. It's really about the individual story behind that car.
Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Talking Classics. Now we are in a different venue today. We are at the Helmingham Hall Festival of Classic and Sports Cars. Now it has been very exciting getting ready for this event because we are here in a different capacity this year. We come nearly every single year, but this year we are actually sponsors. There's so much going on here. There's so many cars. I feel like this festival gets bigger and bigger each year. So it is so lovely to have you here and have a chat with you today. So you mentioned earlier that you do love coming to the Helmingham Hall Classic Car Show. Why is this particular car show more special than other ones you've been to?
So there's two reasons really. First off is the fact that I love the breadth of cars that are here. So whatever kind of cars you're into or whatever kind of car you have, you know, from an Alvis to an Aventador, like you'll find somewhere to put it and you'll find someone that's interested in it.
That's another great thing about where we are now.
Yeah.
Is you go around and you see, you know, like over there was a Triumph in the just the normal parking. There was an early 30s Triumph prototype. And I was looking, I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. Right next to it was an all-restored Land Rover Series 2.
But now I'm going to have a little chat about this beautiful car behind me. So behind me we have our 1968 Jaguar E-Type Series 1.5. Now this is a very special car, isn't it, Gordon?
It is a very special car. So we managed to get hold of this car as a part restoration. It was a father and son restoration that stalled due to the father getting quite ill.
I am standing here with Martin, who has just won Best in Show here at the Helmingham Hall Festival of Classic and Sports Cars. Martin, how does it feel?
Wonderful, really, really good. This the first time I've been to this event, and to win that prize, brilliant.
I am now welcoming Brian to the sofa. So hello, Brian.
Hello.
So you're kind of known as Mr. Helmingham now, I think.
Probably, yes. It seems like after 8 years of doing the commentaries and the judging, it does tend to go like that. I'm dressed a bit strange because we do a best dress competition and I'm trying to generate a bit more interest in that.
The estate management team have been over, they've thanked us, they've been pleased with what we've done, which is good. So hopefully next year we'll be back in the same spot. But it's like everything we do, is try and be bigger and better next year. That's the plan. So we'll see.
But we have had an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you to everybody at Helmingham Hall and everybody who has come to visit our stall or bought tickets on our cars. It's been so lovely to meet you all, and hopefully we'll see you all again next year. So that was our time at Helmingham Hall Classic Car Show. It is always a brilliant show and we can't wait to go back again next year.
Hopefully. I have asked them whether we can. They've not replied yet, but they're worrying about other things at the moment.
They're too busy at the moment.
Exactly.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas
Christmas is coming. So Greg, I want to know now, what has been your highlight of 2023?
Okay, so my highlight of 2023 is not really anything to do with the cars that we do here. My highlight, I think, was an event that we put on in March, which you were involved in, and that was TV presenter Ed Stafford came.
Yes.
So basically what happened is Ed came to us, he had a Land Rover Defender at the time, and it had, cut a long story short, it had been stolen, ripped apart, it was not in a very good state. He started to build it back up himself, and then he needed us to do certain bits to it. So we took that on, and then we became quite friendly with him, and said, it was always been in my mind to have an evening with, we call it, which is people who are fans of a certain person would come here, they'd sit and have an intimate evening, listening to their story of their life. So I said to Ed, would you be interested in doing that? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So the room we're in now got turned into an auditorium, I guess, didn't it?
Gosh, it was completely transformed. It really was. I came in and I was like, wow, because we had a stage here, all the seating. Obviously, the bar was looking fabulous, like it does.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a brilliant night. It really was. And the atmosphere was so lovely as well. Like, he was such a really nice, genuine, kind man.
Yeah, yeah.
And bless him, his taxi was waiting outside, but the people who'd come to watch were queuing up to kind of talk to him and have his autograph. And he waited. It was so lovely. It was a really nice evening.
I think that's the thing. There was just over 100 people, so not a lot of people in this room. They all got to meet him. They all got to have a drink with him. He had a beer with us. It was just really nice. But exactly what you said, I stood at the back of the room and just looked forward at everybody, you know, and the lights and the fact his car was in here and the stage and everything about it. And I just sort of sat back and thought, yeah, this is a special night.
Yeah.
It was really nice. We'd like to do more of them this year. So that could be something that we aim. So yeah, I would probably say that was my highlight of the whole year, was that one evening. There's lots of highlights throughout the year, but that was a special moment, that one.
It was really special, it really was. So that was kind of your highlight of the year.
Yeah.
What has been your favourite competition?
Good question. Possibly my favourite competition car is yet to come, very close. It's actually live. As we're recording this, it's live at the moment. It's a car that I've wanted as a competition car for a really long time, and it's the Ferrari 308. Affordably, it was a big push for us, you know, to be able to go and buy a 308. was a massive strip. We'd done a Ferrari Mondial. That was our dipping our toe in the water of Ferraris, an affordable one.
That was our Christmas one last year, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But the 308 is the one that I think I've always wanted. The 355 and the 308, they're the two biggies for me as competition cars. So I think the 308 is an exciting one. For competitions that we've done so far, we've discussed the E-Type, that was good.
Yeah.
The Little Austin Ulster, which was recent.
yes.
It was just such a stunning, I really weren't sure. When Gordon bought that, he said he bought it and he was bringing it to us, and I looked at it and thought, I'm just not sure how well it's going to go. But everybody fell in love with that car. It was such a lovely little car.
It was so lovely, and it was really fun to drive as well. I mean, when we took that one out, Nick said to me, look, Molly, I want you to let loose.
Right.
I want you to go for it. I want you to be like a racing driver from the 1930s. And I was like, okay. So I did. I really went for it. And I took a corner really quite fast.
But it probably wasn't fast though, was it? It feels fast.
It felt really fast. It felt really fast. And because there's no seatbelts as well, I was like, oh gosh, actually I'm moving away with the car, so I had to like kind of lean over so I didn't slide across. But it was so much fun. But unfortunately, he didn't actually capture that moment.
No. That was a lovely video though, Nick. Nick's behind the camera filming
Nick is behind the camera.
That was a really good video.
It was so funny and so much fun as well. Yeah, that car, it felt like a toy.
Yeah.
It really did.
It looks like a toy. It does look like a little toy, doesn't it?
But it was brilliant, and it really did go.
Yeah.
It did go. I much preferred going fast than slow. But it was so much fun, that car. It really was.
Yeah. Now competitions have been really good this year, and obviously we've managed to get it to a stage now where it's one a week, which is incredible. That was never our plan. Our plan was to do. It was going to be a sideline to the restoration side, and the plan was to do 12 in a year.
Fabulous. And as you mentioned earlier, the competitions were originally to go alongside all of the restoration work that we do. Now, we have had some amazing cars through the workshop. What has been your favourite restoration that we've done so far?
Oh, there's so many. So half of what we do is restorations, half of what we do is just generally looking after classic cars. Restoration-wise, probably the most exciting, and it's been with us for a couple of years now, probably 3 years maybe, is the Aston Martin DB24. Love that car. So that came to us as a full restoration, and it's being built for Mille Miglia. That should hopefully be done within the next couple of weeks. We're just waiting for approval, the DVLA paperwork, all of the legal stuff, but the actual finishing of the car, that's all being done at the moment. So yeah, just after Christmas, I reckon that will be good. We did our first test drive of that actually last week.
Yes. That Aston Martin DB24 just looks so beautiful on that test drive. That car really is a stunner.
It's really nice, yeah. And to think that it's going to go and, in theory, be raced.
I know, and the Mille Miglia, that's such an amazing race as well,
Yes.
isn't it? Like all over Italy, it is going to look so beautiful.
It's iconic, yeah. Yeah, so that's really exciting. That's going to have a good year this year, that one. I think it's in for the next Mille. I think, which will be quite exciting.
Oh, wouldn't
but
it
the
be-
funny thing about that is, so through no intention of ours, we haven't really done many Aston Martins over the years. But that came in. And then straight off the back of that coming in, someone had read online that we were doing that 2.4, wanted to pop in and see it because he's got one himself, and he is not in a position where he could restore it,
Right.
or he didn't want to. Later in life, should we say, and he just sort of said, I don't want to spend my time restoring this car. So we ended up acquiring another Aston Martin 2.4 off the back of that one, and then the drop head coupe came in couple of months ago. So now we've gone from having no Aston Martins in at all to three Aston Martin DB24s in at the one time, all being restored. So next year is going to be a big year of Aston Martins for us.
Full on.
Full on, yeah. And the other two that are currently in restoration now, they will be with us for the whole of next year.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be done next year.
Because the Aston Martin that we've got at the moment, I think that's like been a 3-year restoration.
I think so,
something like
yeah. I was just trying to rack my brains as to when that came in. I would have said 2 or 3 years, yeah. Yeah, we're a little bit behind schedule on that one, through no fault of ours, really. It was just things took longer to do, parts were harder to get than we thought. So I think it was supposed to be last Mille we wanted it ready for, and now it's going to be this one.
Because everything has to be completely like factory specification, doesn't it? For
It does with that
race?
car, yeah. Even the materials used within reason have to be exactly how they came out of the factory. So yeah, that was... we had to be very, very careful with the restoration of that car.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've pulled it off.
Oh my
Looks
gosh,
good.
yeah, it definitely has paid off, definitely. I mean, is there any chance that we could possibly go to Italy and watch the race?
The customer actually said that he wanted us to go along with it, but that was 3 years ago. He's probably slept since then, changed his mind and thought, I'll go on my own. But yeah, he did mention it, that we should go over. We should go over.
Yeah.
100% should go over.
Definitely. Holiday. No. But no, brilliant, yeah. There's been so much other things going on as well. I mean, we've had obviously our big car event in Helmingham Hall, but we've had some extra events as well. Like you mentioned earlier, one of your highlights was Ed Stafford, and we've also started doing some kind of Christmassy things as well, which have just recently happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's lots going on. So the Atelier building we're in now was built for that reason. So we wanted it during the day to essentially be a showroom or home to competitions. This is where we do a lot of our lives. It's next door to the workshop, so you can easily walk from one room to the next. But the plan for this was in an evening, it's turned into other things. So yeah, like you say, we have car shows here, car clubs come and they take over this space. We've got a licensed bar. That's unusual in a workshop, but we have that. We have our evenings with, and hopefully there'll be a lot more next year. With the event side of the business as well. It's quite exciting, I think, the ideas we've got for next year.
I think one of the things that I really enjoy is on the second Tuesday of each month we have our Coffee and Classics mornings, and these mornings are really lovely because sometimes we might have like 20 people turn up and sometimes it might just be 4 or 5, but it's a really nice kind of morning for anyone who likes cars just to get out of the house for a little while, pop and see us, see what's going on, and it's just a really nice event, and things like that I think are something to really be proud of.
Well, I think that's the nice thing, because a lot of our events happen in the evenings or at weekends, which our technicians don't work in the evenings and weekends. So the Tuesday morning is a really good opportunity for people who like what we do or like cars or just want to come and have a drink can actually meet the technicians, stand underneath the cars, talk to them about what's going on. So that's probably one of the only few events that we do where, again, the technicians get to see this side of the business as well. Because, they come in the morning and they fix cars and they go home. They don't necessarily see everything that goes on at the weekends and in the evenings. So the Tuesday is really nice for that reason. It's not a huge event, but doesn't cost anything. You come along. It's all on the website and you just hopefully enjoy yourself for a couple of hours.
And it's the comments that we've had from some of our customers and people who come to our shows, they've actually really appreciated that we do a little coffee morning on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that is a really lovely thing to kind of feel like we're kind of giving back a little bit as well.
Well, I saw a comment a while ago, which I think is exactly what we aim to do, and that was to make a community.
Yeah.
So whether you've got a classic car or not, if you like them or appreciate them, then our doors are open for you. You know, so people who own a classic car, of course they enter our competitions. We get comments online that, you know, someone shouldn't win a car because they've already got a classic car. Well, naturally, they're likely to be the kind of people that will buy tickets to a classic car competition.
Because they're enthusiasts.
Exactly. But if you don't have a classic car, you can still come here, you can still have a tea and a coffee and a beer if you want, and see all of the cars and talk about them and win them as well. That's the thing. That's what the competitions is all about, is introducing new people as well to the classic car world.
Definitely. And I like the fact that with our competitions, we do try and kind of do a mix of cars.
Yes.
So we have obviously our classic cars, but then we have our more modern cars, like the Jaguar F-Type that we've just done. So I think it's quite nice for us to try and kind of expand our audience as well. And is that something that we want to do more next year?
Yeah, I don't want to go down the route of doing modern.
No.
It's nice to drip them in every now and again in cars that we consider will be a future classic. My Aston Martin DB9 was one. Like you say, the F-Type, we've got a BMW Alpina. No, really, the Alpina, we were very nervous about the Alpina because essentially it's a 5 Series. But it's a very special 5 Series. We believe it's one of the last 6.
Yes.
So it makes it a really special car. Dare I say it makes it a future investment. So that's the kind of thing we want to introduce into it. But essentially, our bread and butter is classics. We don't want to go over the top with these really expensive classic cars that then cost a bomb to insure. Don't get me wrong. We'll do the occasional Ferrari 308 or something of that ilk.
Yeah.
But it's all about the minis and the Morris Minors and the everyday classics that people appreciate. But don't get me wrong, next year we might look at, we've chucked ideas together of, do we give cash as well as the car to help fund some of the bigger cars to get insurance, or do we try and team up with an insurance company? That would be amazing. You know, if we can team up with an insurance company that you get a year's insurance with your prize, something like that. All of these ideas are there, they just haven't happened yet. So we'll carry on.
But there's more time, more exciting things to come.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the aim.
And we had a wonderful event recently, something really kind of special, and it was really heartwarming for me to do, was our mince pie drive.
Oh, yes.
The mince pie drive. Now, this was really, really special because we took mince pies around Suffolk, basically, to the care homes. And it was a really lovely experience, really heartwarming. Some of the gentlemen were so chuffed to see these classic cars, and I would love for you to see their reactions as well. So take a little look at this. Everyone, and welcome to our mince pie drive. So this morning we are going to travel around the beautiful Suffolk countryside, and we are going to visit some care homes and give them some delicious mince pies. So join us for the journey.
While we savor the great indoors, I don't need a gift to know you got me, just to make me feel at home. Just a simple wish to make me happy, so that I can feel you close.
So we've just arrived at our first care home, Highlands Woodbridge, and hopefully they'll be looking out their windows to see the classic cars very soon.
Just one thing I'm asking for, give me love, that's all I want, unboxed or in a bowl. Give me love, that's all I want. Give me love, that's all I want. Can you feel wonder in the air? New Year is a time for care, making new memories to share. I don't need a gift to know you got me, just to make me feel at home. Just a simple wish to make me happy, so that I can feel you close. Just one thing I'm asking for, give me love, that's all I want. Unboxed or in a box.
We've had great success here at our second care home. We've been inside and given them the mince pies. Some of the residents have come outside to see the classic cars and they absolutely love them. So all amazing from here.
I want. Give me love, that's all I want.
Here we are at our last care home of the day, Wickham House. So let's go inside now and give them some delicious mince pies.
I wanna take you back in time. All of our neighbors' twinkling lights, all of our youthful eyes so bright. We'd never seen the sky so wide. And I just want that winter feeling. Very merry, happy holiday. Close your eyes, I wish it never goes.
What an absolutely amazing day on our mince pie drive. Well done to Lily for organising it. It was absolutely brilliant seeing the smiles on the residents' faces when they got to see these wonderful classics. Thank you so much for joining us for the ride.
Merry, happy holiday to you.
So that was our day driving around Suffolk, visiting the care homes for our mince pie drive, and it was such a lovely event. And the beautiful Morris 1000 pickup treated me so well. She drove absolutely beautifully the whole day.
Oh, good. And the Lotus.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the Lotus. I had lots of fun in the Lotus.
Yeah.
I do have to say, out of all of the classic cars that we've done, I have had many favourites.
Okay.
But the Morris 100 pickup is up there.
The favourite of the favourites.
It's up there. Well, my absolute favourite was a 1968 Morris Mini, the green one, that Holly Farthing one.
Oh, yeah.
That was my absolute favourite. And that was one of my first Minis. I think it was my first Mini that I did.
Holly's still got that.
She has.
Yeah.
She brings it to our car shows, which is so
she
lovely.
Does, yeah. But that was really special that day because when you couldn't write it, the weather was... The amount of people that's seen that video since making that and gone, when's it snowed?
I know. And what was quite incredible, it was one of those days where it was absolutely freezing. There was frost on the floor, but the sun was shining.
Really?
So when we were driving through some of the country roads with the kind of, brown leaves, it just looked beautiful as well.
Lily done a great job with that because that was just an idea that popped into her head, wasn't it? And she sort of came up with this idea and said, oh, I'd like to do this. And we thought, it's quirky, it's a bit different. But I think that's given us more of the excitement to do things like that next year. I mean, I'm thinking something to do with schools.
So lovely, it really was. Really, really heartwarming. I know I've said it before, but it really was. It brought so much kind of Christmas cheer.
It did, yeah.
It really did. And the weather was beautiful that day, unlike the weather on our festive car show.
But the turnout, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely poured and poured and poured. It was like 2 days later as well. The sun was beautiful and shining. And then on that Sunday of our festive car show, the weather was awful, but it didn't turn people away.
No.
People still came and it was a beautiful event. It really
Fewer
was.
classics than we expected.
Yes.
People still came in sort of their modern cars, their everyday cars, but there was a couple. There was probably a handful of classics that turned up, but that wasn't about that. It was, we've got plenty of classics here for people to see, so it was just a case of coming down, and they did. It was indoors, which is kind of nice. We had a few comments saying, is it indoors? Yes, it was. And it was nice and warm under the heaters. But no, it was a really good turnout, wasn't it?
It was a really good turnout, and if you want to see what we got up to, have a little look at this video. Hello everyone and welcome to the Bridge Classic Cars Festive Car Show. Now we are not letting the weather dampen our spirits today. We have brought everybody inside the warm atelier to get a nice hot mulled wine and listen to some lovely music. There's so many stalls here and everyone is having such fun. The Christmas spirit is really getting higher and higher, which is so lovely. Now there is some classic cars out here as well. Not as many as we'd hoped because of the weather, but it's amazing that people have still come along to join us. Brave food vendors out here, braving the cold, keeping everyone full up with nice full bellies full of yummy foods. We've got sugar and rose bakes with some delicious cookies. I definitely am going to be coming back to you later. We've got some bubble caps to keep your head warm, some beautiful pictures of cars, auto design, and then everything you may need for your car. Even some chamois leathers, you might need those to wipe them down as it's a little bit rainy here today. Workshops open, so people can have a little spy at all of the cars we are restoring at the moment. Here at Bridge Classic Cars. Thank you so much to everybody who came along, and please do keep an eye on the events section on our website for more exciting things that we've got coming up soon. See you later! Craig, can you tell me now, what are your main goals for British Classic Cars in 2024?
Right, okay. Restorations workshop-wise, we're very busy next year already, which is a really good position to be in. It's, you know, sometimes if people just want a little thing done, it's quite difficult sometimes to say, oh, we can't fit you in for X amount of months. So it's a good position to be in. We've got some really exciting restorations coming up, but hopefully we want to try and level it off a little bit next year in the workshops. Concentrate on fewer cars than what we've had before.
Right.
Spend more of our time, so hopefully try and get them through and out faster than what we have done before. It's so easy for someone to just bring a car and we'll stop doing a restoration to get on with a service or something like that, and next year we're going to look at possibly not doing that as much.
Right.
So we'll concentrate our efforts on the restorations next year. So that's the workshop side of it. We've got a couple of new technicians starting to bolster up the team. We've had a couple of people leave this year, which naturally that happens, but the technician side, they haven't left from the technician side, so we're bolstering that bit up. So that's exciting for there. Events, it's going to be loads more events going on. If you ever look at the events calendar already, Lily's done an amazing job of putting everything she's already had set for next year in, but it doesn't just stop there. There's going to be extra things. We've got a really exciting, hopefully a really exciting thing coming up where the building we're in now will become more workshop space, and the building we're in now will move to its own special building, which I think caters more for the event side. So we'll still have the bar, we'll still have the competitions, will be from there, but it'll be a nicer space, I think. It'll be a nicer feeling space.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean we're going to stop here. I mean, like I said, we've discussed the evenings with, I'd like to do a lot more of them. It would be nice for them to be in the workshop. I think as well, it would be nice to have parties in the workshop, you know, so maybe put some food on, put some tables in amongst the cars and do some quirky things like that. So it's not like we're not going to see the workshops at all. We're still going to host things in here, but there will be a new building, hopefully, within the next few months that will be purely about events. Which is quite exciting.
Yes.
What else is coming up? I'm just trying to think. That's it, isn't it?
Also, some more things that we're going to do in 2024 is have some more automotive media. So obviously we've got our Talking Classics on YouTube, Spotify, podcast, more things like that are coming up soon,
Yeah, so
aren't they?
I kind of feel like you need to be a bit busier.
Thank you.
You know, I don't think you're working hard enough. So yeah, we're gonna make a lot more content that is very different to what it is now. So we have this thing in the office which is called Talking Classics, and really we don't know what that is. Talking Classics was a brilliant concept that Rob came up with. Well, he says he came up with it. I came up with it beforehand, before he started, where it was us sitting on a sofa similar to this, having a chat with people. Then Rob sort of made it. He lifted it off the page a little bit more and said, yes, we can do that. But we could also do it in written form, which is where we speak to people and they answer various questions. It's really interesting. And he said, let's call it Talking Classics. And then everything we've ever created since then falls under the umbrella of Talking Classics. So in 2024, we're tidying it all up. So there's going to be a lot more content going out. So Talking Classics will return bigger and better. Hopefully we'll get some good names on where we'll talk to people about their classic cars and their classic lifestyles and stuff like that. And then we're going to have some more shows, very similar to this one, where it will be talking to someone specifically about their vehicle, or, I don't know, when we go to the Birmingham NEC Classic Car Show, which you did recently.
Yes.
There'll be a lot more shows sort of around that. So, yeah, there'll be a lot more content for you to get your teeth stuck into next year.
Love it, love it. And if you did want to watch the NEC video, go back one Talking Classics episode and you'll see what we got up to on that video there. So we have lots of exciting things planned for 2024. So everyone, please watch that space. Do go onto the British Classic Cars website, have a look at the events that are coming up. If you're interested in any of these things, please do email us, drop us a message. We absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported us this year, watched our videos, entered our competitions and come to our events. It is so lovely to see you guys in real life and online. And we hope to see you all in the new year.